Of my next guest, it has been written he is immune to the laws of gravity. His grace and litheness make ordinary people elephantine by comparison. He says of himself, I just run quickly. He is, of course, Sebastian Coe. Sebastian, I happen to know you've had a tremendous dash to be with us. Have you actually met Victoria Wood before?
No, never, no.
Well, that's Victoria Wood, and this is Sebastian Coe. And thank you both for coming. Actually, you know, we tried to get you on a helicopter, and then the fog came down, and we got you on a train, and we thought that might be late. Everybody said, why can't he run here?
It's British Rail meat sandwiches that did me in the end.
How long would it take you to run from Birmingham, do you reckon?
Probably until about 86, I would think.
Very pleased to hear you say that. So I know that what is this, that the ethic of athletics, or was, that to take part is all. But you don't agree with that, do you?
In a way, I do. I think it's great that anybody should don a tracksuit and go out and pound the pavements. But I suppose for the amount of time that I put into, I think in honestly trying to be the best, then I would... I think that if I was stopped winning or started losing more than I was winning, I would probably find something else to do.
What does it take to be a winner, apart from the fact that you're very fast? I mean, have you got a mean streak? Is that what is required?
I think there's probably an element of nastiness somewhere, yes. I think you have to be... I think you want to have to be the best. I think that's the one thing. It's getting there without trampling on too many people, really.
And you've managed to do that so far?
I've tried to. It's not always been easy. I mean, there have been times when, you know, in order to try and maintain that kind of standard, you had to, do things that haven't been particularly popular.
Now, what about the press attitude before the Los Angeles Olympics? That was something that was unpleasant for you, wasn't it? Did it get you down?
It was at the time. Looking back on it, it was probably the brightest thing they could ever do, because it spurred me to a point of almost fever pitch for the 1,500 metres. And I mean, there was a large question in the press as to whether I should even have gone to the games 5 weeks beforehand, and to sort of sit and read that kind of stuff really sort of churned me up a little bit, I think.
Yes, so it was a rather double-sided thing. I mean, it spurred you on to do so well, and gave you the chance to give an interesting salute to the press box when you did win.
To my friends in the press box, yes.
Your friends, yeah, quite. Well, drama and tragedy and terrible stress and all the rest of it, where's the fun? Where's the enjoyment in all this?
There is a lot of fun. Just if you think of nothing more than the pleasure I get actually from running with a group of guys on a Sunday morning with a club, or some of the travel and the trips away with a team have been very amusing.
Now, have you been able to make friends with other athletes? What about the Americans?
Well, the Americans are very nice. I mean, they're a great bunch of athletes and runners. They tend to be very intense about what they're doing. They don't lose races. They don't physically lose races. There is always some psychological underlying reason for why they've lost, and they're all... I mean, I remember Steve Scott doing an interview after one of the races, and he said the problem was he'd never really got in tune with his body during the race, which I really couldn't understand.
It's all a bit intense, isn't it, really? What about the regimen of being an athlete? The diet, is that a problem? Does your metabolism ensure you stay that size anyway?
Well, I don't know. I don't have a diet. I, in fact, have judiciously avoided getting caught up with the dietary fads. In fact, I read a book not long ago. I think it was Eat to Win or something. And I was staying with some friends in Chicago, and we were going through this, and we realised that I actually, according to this book, ate absolutely nothing that was of any value to me before the Olympics in Los Angeles. So we actually ceremoniously dug a hole in the back garden and buried it.
Martina Navratilova was involved with that book, wasn't she?
Yes, she was actually, yes. I might look like Martina, I suppose.
Well, you looks rather nice. Victoria, do you bother with dieting?
No, do I look as if I used to. I went on a hard-boiled egg and bacon diet once, and the idea was there was some theory that hard-boiled eggs ate the food inside you, so it went like that. And you went and disappeared. It didn't work, as you can see.
Well, not surprised. What about Moscow and Los Angeles, the differences in the places and all that? Were they marked?
Yes, I mean, very obvious. I mean, I was very, very relaxed in Los Angeles because I could get out of the village. I mean, that made quite a difference. I was in Moscow for the best part of 3 weeks, and apart from the times that I went down to the stadium and raced, there was nowhere to go. We had a KGB guy that was with us as team, as a sort of team interpreter and general sort of helper around the place. And one of the team officials asked him one evening where the nearest nightclub was, and he sort of looked over the top of his half-moon glasses and said Helsinki. It was an interesting place to be in,
yeah.
But it was much easier in Los Angeles.
Were you afraid that your rooms were bugged?
No, there was a general paranoia about the rooms. There were two very nice stories. One was both around the press. A group of BBC guys sound guys got into the hotel in the centre of Moscow, and one of them was absolutely certain that there was a bug in the room, and they systematically took the room to pieces. They went under carpets, they pulled down light fittings, and eventually they looked and realised there was a television in the corner. So within seconds the back was off, and the entire contents of this television sort of spread out on the top of this table. And just as they realised there was nothing there and putting it back, the phone went in the room, and a Russian voice at the other end said, "Would you stop fiddling with your television set, please?"
That's a good one, isn't it?
There was another one I quite liked. There was it happened to some of the press, and they were the same sort of looking for the same bugs around the place. One guy found what he thought was a bug, a little nut actually, underneath the carpet in the middle of the floor. Studiously started untying this, and there was a hell of a crash below as the chandelier from the room downstairs.
What about... you have a phenomenally long inside leg. I know. I'm not talking to you, Victoria. I'm told you have a 34-inch inside leg, which will interest people for various reasons. But I mean, as an athlete,
sure, yes.
I mean, that's a great asset, isn't it?
I do have to get home tonight.
Don't look at me in that funny way. Is it a problem, Sebastian, with getting clothes, though?
Yes, that's not easy because if I find the right length trousers, then I'm wearing a jacket that looks like a sort of Oliver Hardy belt end. If I'm wearing the if I'm going for the right size jacket, then I've got sort of Norman Wisdom type trousers on, so it's never the easiest of combinations.
You did very well for Norman Wisdom.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So off the peg's not ready for you, is it?
No, I'm afraid not.
Yeah. Victoria, where do you get your clothes?
Unless Dawson lends them to me. I get them from shops, you know.
Do you really? Yeah. That was not made...
People pay good money for this.
That was not made specially?
No, this is bought in a shop.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Sebastian's wearing my jaw out. Let me say Seb for a moment. What would you... Or can't I?
You can, yes.
Oh,
feel free.
What would you swap your gold medals for? Is there anything that would give you greater pleasure in life?
Well, I would have said real gold medals, because of course the medals from Los Angeles and Moscow have got some sort of funny gilt on the top. In fact, one of the kids I took them home to afterwards looked at them and started trying to peel the paper off. They thought it was chocolate. I suppose, if I'm being honest, I would give up a lot to proficiently be able to play a jazz instrument.
She plays the piano.
Yes, not very well.
And swims.
Not at the same time.
I can understand. That's her next show, of course.